Good day. I see somebody has been notified of my live stream. That's nice. This is gonna be a little bit short one. Sanders, you gotta get to work pretty damn early. How have you been? Okay, so I have server and client stuff working. The server and client both see each other, and I have a suspicion that oh yeah, okay, so this is where I left off last time. So I left off at the point where I can't have a second client because I needed to come up with a system for adding like a random value to the string that holds the whatchamacallit, that holds the unique username, because that username has to be unique if you want to connect to the same server. You can't have two clients with the same username, so to speak. So if I'm gonna pull this sucker up and compile this guy, so I ended up I left off trying to figure out how to do the whole random thing, and I had to bullshit with the different value types. So anyways, here we go. Okay, so as you can see, you can see me walking around in the background there, and if I switch here, same deal happens here. So that's pretty good. Technically, if I send this game to somebody, they should be able to play with me. Technically. Now, what I'm doing now, I've done this from the point of view of the client, where I'm watching how much data I'm actually sending. Well, okay, technically before I can send it to somebody to play it with them, there's also one more thing that needs to be done, and it's when the client is connecting to the server, I need the server to send the level layout to the client, because right now the games create their own terrain. So if there's a platform beneath you in your game, on my game there's a good chance that you're just gonna be floating midair, right? So we need the client to inherit the level layout of the server, which is basically the same thing. There's only, you know, we got about 500 to like 2,000 object positions to send, and the format is going to be exactly the same. So every time we ascend, every time we get to the next level, it's going to create, the server is going to generate its level, and then it's going to go through every single object there, put it into a data packet, and send it off to the client. Later on, I'm going to have to look into things like data redundancy, or some sort of verification system, so that if the package doesn't arrive or arrives corrupted, which I have no idea how I would know if it's corrupted, I would have to have the client send back another message, like a confirmation message. Package received, everything's good. I'm assuming that I could probably have the server send two packets. One is the warning that you're about to receive a packet with the level data, and since that packet is it's small but it has a lot of data in it, then the client will say, okay, if I haven't received this packet within like 5 seconds or 10 seconds, then I will send a message back that I have not received that packet. I mean, logically, it doesn't sound too complicated, realistically. Do you have a donation page? Yes, I do. I actually have a Patreon page. Let me see if I can pull it up somewhere. Here we go. Let's see if this is actually gonna pop up on the Twitch chat. Whoops, sorry, put in the wrong character there. I actually should also ask the Restream guys if they have some sort of an email I can sign up for. To see if they have an update page somewhere. That would be nice. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Okay, let me see if I enable the chat. I want to see if the chat is still glitched out, because I did message the guys at Restream, and they did say that this is some sort of rare bug that they can't seem to track down just because how rare it is. So they did say it's a bug, so I kind of disabled the on-screen chat, but that on-screen chat looks better than anything else I've seen. You guys have an emailing list I can sign up for to know when bugs are fixed. Okay, here we go. Anyways, GM Wolf, hey! Yes, this is the App Game Kit engine. I think I've showed this to you before. The App Game Kit engine either runs on BASIC or it runs on C++. So if you're running C++, you got to do it in Visual Studio. But this is the first time of me actually playing around Visual Studio. It took me about 2 days to convert the project to C++. But I mean, the functions are all the same. It's just put a AJK prefix before them, or I'm guessing I could probably put a using namespace AJK before it. So, anyways, I'm working out some server and client side connections here. So, it's tricky stuff. Well, not really. It's just a little bit time consuming. Not so much tricky. So I have a client and the server here, and I'm trying to optimize some stuff, considering how much data the server and client is going to be receiving. So if I see that box over there, that box is the server. This box, not that box. This box is the client. Whee! The movement is a little bit steppy. I'm not too sure about the data. I'm gonna have to check if the float values are getting sent out properly. Yeah, but this is actually the first. This is the first game that I think I've made completely in code. And this, I for 3D games, like if I'm not going with Unreal Engine, which is also another reason why I'm learning, why I'm doing this project in C++, because Unreal Engine is in C++, so, you know, that'll make me a bit more comfortable with the way I'm working with the, you know, with these things, with the code and with Visual Studio. This engine supports, you know, shadows, built-in fog, object queuing, so, you know, objects that are obscured by this pillar are not being rendered, right? Objects that are currently behind me are not being rendered. I've got 500 objects actively orbiting around, or I guess rotating, wouldn't say orbiting, around themselves in real time, and I'm, you know, steady sitting at 60 FPS. So this is supposed to be a platformer, at least for now. I want to make this as a platformer with a little co-op bonus, and put this up on the whatchamacallit, put this up on Game Jolt as a early access thing, so that you know, get some money in. If the project gets popular, which is, you know, a dream of every single game developer, I can quit my job, you know, do game development for a living, yada yada. You know the plan. You're in the same boat as I am. So, I mean, for me, just soaring through the space is fun. It's fun already, but I figured doing this with friends would have been a lot more fun. This is gonna be simply the like the tech demo, right? Just what I have to show for in this particular game. I actually have a level layout for this game that I'm gonna be putting in story mode. And while the other project will, my dad's working on a script, helping me out with that stuff. We're getting some story stuff done. Not a whole lot of programming done, because the demo for Artag Rise is pretty much done. It's just a couple of more things that need to be programmed in that are story related. That, you know, I wouldn't really live stream either way because it's story related. I figured I'd keep the programming train going. Concept art. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, man. I gotta find some places where I can actually present this project. So, you know, this is the entire level layout. And everything in blue is randomly generated, so that every time, you know, you start the game, it's a bit more interesting than traversing the same exact pattern every single time. You know. Floating stuff, meeting the NPC in the game. Floating, and that's the end of level 1. A lot of stuff to do. So, right now, have you ever said to yourself you're going to make any game and it turned out something you didn't want? I can't say no. No. I wouldn't say game development is quite like that. It depends on how you start your project, though. You could start your project by saying, I'm gonna make a game, and then go straight to code and start programming, you know? No concept art, no ideas, no writing stuff down, none of that stuff. That way, you will most likely than not get nowhere fast, right? You'll be trying to create something from an idea, right? An idea has no vision, right? You need your vision on a piece of paper, or, you know, in Photoshop, in order to to stick with the project, right? Because here's the thing, if you keep your project in your head all the time, that vision in your head will fade away, and you'll start questioning the inspirational value of that project, right? This is why I have made it a habit to write this stuff down religiously. So, up to this point, I have not had a project that turned out the wrong way. Usually, see, this kind of stuff happens when you work for a contract, when you work for a publisher, where the publisher is giving you the funds, The publisher is giving you the funds, and the publisher needs to make a marketable product that is going to be profitable. And the publisher ends up going, okay, this is popular, that's popular. Put this in your game, put that in your game, because that's popular and that's going to mean sales. Put this in your game. This is where you are more likely than not get that kind of an idea, right? With the large teams of, a good couple of hundred people who all, they basically, this is where the concept artists come in, actually. Concept artists are people who are supposed to make sure that every member of the team is sitting on the same page in terms of the visual style, aesthetic, design of your game. They basically talk to the producer, or the project manager, whatever you want to call them, and they sit down and they say, I want to make like a futuristic game, but I want it to have steampunk elements in it, and I want it to be like this gritty post-apocalyptic world, and go. And the concept artists are like, okay, well, let's draw this shit. And he comes up with sketches and conceptual pieces, weapon designs, foliage designs, city designs, pulling inspiration from maybe like Victorian era for the architectural stuff, outfits, designs, costumes, character designs, and he lays that out in front of the producer and says, this is what I got. The producer goes, I like that, I like that, I like that. Can you change this a bit? I want to maybe have like more like long face, just like and you end up with like a game like whatchamacallit. Fuck. The Outsider. Where was the Outsider? Dishonored. Right? So you're like, okay, so this is the aesthetic of the game, and you give it to everybody, and that's what the game's going to be. So that's the point of doing concept art, putting your ideas into drawings. With script writing, that can happen. It can happen in a bunch of places. If you're working in teams, if you're working with a small team, like 10 people, you are the project manager if it's your game. So that's pretty much what it is. The only time you can, as an indie developer, the only time you can really screw it up and say this game is not turning out what I want it to be is if you did not prepare. Right? This is why you have to put stuff to drawing, and this was actually reiterated by somebody I watched in it was the GDC convention where the animators for the Cuphead were talking about how they created the animations, their animation pipeline for the game. And the guy specifically said that since everything is hand-drawn, he had to actually try to recreate the movements with his own body and try to kind of make up sketches before he started animating. Because with hand animation, not generated animation, with hand animation, what happens is after a certain point, if you make a mistake or you want to change your mind, that is a lot of work that has to be done. Like there's like one death animation was 80 frames, 80 hand-drawn frames. So this is why he had to make up his mind about what the final animation is going to be before he actually started animating it with sketches and tests and lots and lots of research. This is how you avoid that kind of stuff. Same thing with 3D modeling. If you're making a 3D game, do not start with like you're saying, I need to have an enemy that has a face of a pig, a body that's like all scorched up, and maybe metal feet, metal legs. You don't go into 3D modeling program and start, sculpting that fucker. You actually have to draw it first, make your adjustments on paper, and then the modeling part actually becomes easy, because when you're modeling, you're realistically not thinking of what this design is supposed to be. You're just recreating it in 3D space, right? That's how you go around screwing things up for you and making your life difficult. Is it hard to make maps? Are you talking about textures or levels? Okay. Both. Well, both would be pretty broad subjects, so textures? Maybe. I recently got myself a copy of Substance Painter, which is a texture drawing software suite for 3D animators in film and in video games. And it's apparently one of the most used texture creation programs and map creation programs, or texture map creation programs out there, because it allows you to actually paint textures directly on your 3D object instead of having to do texture maps in Photoshop and then trying to launch stuff up in the 3D map. What games do you play? I play I mostly play like the old stuff I've played since forever. Fallout, Stalker, just like the Batman series. Not a fan of competitive gaming. I prefer cooperative games more than competitive. Cooperative games create enemies. No, competitive games create enemies. Cooperative games create friends. I could play sometime. It depends on play what. As I said, the newest game that I have played is Fallout 4. That is the newest game that I've purchased, and that's the newest game that I've played. Not a whole god-awful lot. Like single player games I play. I gotta play the new Wolfenstein game because I love the old one. The New Order. That was awesome. So that's probably gonna be in the next game I play. In terms of multiplayer, probably the only game I would play is probably Arma. My friend, who's also into game development, he plays that game quite a lot, and he likes it. Oh, there you go. So he knows you can't pause online games, huh? He's one of those proactive people. Okay. Get object world X, world Y, world Z. Okay, so technically this is the client stuff. Okay, so here's what I need to do. The server. I don't need the test this thing. So here's what I'm gonna do. In order to limit the amount of data that I keep sending out, I need to make sure that the server does not send its position data every single frame. That is not useful. How do I fold code, actually? Let's see. Yes, C++. No. Visual Studio Code fold. Shortcuts. Fold. Really? Probably the first game we would play would be the game I'm working on. Oh man. Visual Studio Code Fold. Shortcut. Can't spell for shit. That's okay. Basic editing. Scroll page up. Fold. Collapse region. Control Shift. Okay. So Control Shift that. Liar. Doesn't do shit. Ah, man. Visual Studio Code key binding. How do I collapse section of the code? Fold. Control Shift square bracket. On Windows, yes. Add cursor. Control K, Control D. Really? What? Okay, fine. It doesn't want to. Doesn't want to behave. Anyways, so here's what I'm gonna do. There's a place here. Apply own data to the array. Only apply if position changes. And I already have these variables up here. New X, new, okay. This is as a server. And I have this code up here actually. Here we go. So the whole point is I gotta watch just how much data I keep sending. Because if I'm standing still, I really don't need to be sending the updated position data. Okay. So after that, I will this thing in here. Do you have your own home server? No, I do not. We have. It depends on what you mean. For hosting games, no. It's. I mean, it depends on what's the purpose. If it's for personal gaming, it's just whatever computer that's not doing anything at that point in time becomes our server. But if it's for like casual gaming or like Minecraft server gaming, but no hosting for these games. And it would probably not be a good idea to host it on a home server. There's not really much sense in running the server all the time, considering last time we played Minecraft was, I think, last year. We haven't visited our server in ages. And, you know, most of the games that we play usually have the server built into the game you're playing. So, like Contagion, right? We like to play Contagion sometimes. But okay, so now I need the following thing. I have the skybox rotation. I have 1 hour left before I have to skedaddle to work. But the good thing is that I'm done at 7:30, so I'll still have time in the evening, probably, to do another live stream. But this is in Canada. That depends on where you are. So it's 1 o'clock right now. Okay. Okay, so this is what I need. I'm gonna do Boolean. Update clients equals false. Australia. Uh-huh. I don't sound like it. What do you mean? Here we go. After adding equals true. Apply all data to the players. Yes. Now, send collected data back to the player. So here's what's going to happen. Not only should there be at least 2 clients, the update client should also be true. And after we're done sending that stuff, we're going to set it false. Makes sense. So we update our own position, set it to true. True, if it's true, send that, and then send it to false. Nice. Great. Now, we also need to set it to true if we receive new data from the clients. Because the client doesn't send its data unless it moves too. So if the server receives data, that means the client has moved. That means it should update all of the other clients. So, receive data from clients. Okay. So, technically, incoming data. Here we go. So if the message that we receive, here we go. So if the message is 1.1, which means that it's a position message, here we go, true, make sure to update all clients of the new position. Because the one thing that I noticed is that there is a lot of data coming through to the client, because I have a counter there that reads what's the ID of the message, and it sends like a good 100 messages per second, I think, if not more. So that's 100 messages per second when the client is standing doing nothing. You really don't need to send all those messages. So we'll find out if it works now. And that's basic optimization for you. Okay. So you be the server, you be the client. Okay. Oh. Okay, as you can see, it's not sending data all the time. But you see that the movement of the box is very, very steppy. Jenko, how's it going? You missed GM Wolf dropping in just a few minutes ago. What have you been up to? Any more prototypes? Or have you been on a dry spell? Okay, so what I want to know is why does it use integer values for setting position when the position is so much smoother with the core game? You have to study. Oh yeah, the plague of studying. Finish your second lighting. Yeah, that'd be nice. So you're saying I'm still sending a whole lot of unnecessary data. First of all, okay, before getting rid of unnecessary data, I still want to see why is it not setting the thing properly? See, I'm reading a float value. Oh, is this a float? Yeah, it is a float. I could interpolate the values, but it's not really the question of interpolation, because here's the thing. I know that I'm sending a float. I know that I'm receiving a float. Or scale the world up. That is a never-ending plague of me. I make my players way too small. And it's exactly the reason why these shadows are so jaggedy. But making the level bigger now. And I have to like I had to scale these objects down to like a 0.3 of the size. So yeah, it's tricky. It's pretty tricky, but maybe I should do that before I start adding too many assets and the level is actually built. Man, I'd have to like, if all my objects right now are 0.3, so points like a third of the size, then I'd have to scale all the objects 3 times, and I'd have to scale all the positioning between them 3 times. Ah, those shadows are ugly. Janko, these are better shadows than what Game Maker Studio has to offer, which is none. None built-in shadows. Man, my spacing is gonna triple, and it doesn't even guarantee that it's gonna fix it. I mean, it probably will, but you know, we'll see. Maybe that's gonna be my next task after I figure this positioning stuff out. So here's the thing. I create my server. As you can see, it's writing down. Well, it's not writing down shit because I just created the client. So I create a server and host client connect. For some reason, it's not reading the server. I'm not sure why. Oh yeah, it's because it's because the positioning has changed. TD sprinkles. Okay. Okay. So if it is a server, update client equals false, send data. So this thing is right here. If old x does not equal to new x, yeah, it works with the client. It should be working with so this is the client side. It is supposed to be updating this variable. Is this located? Yeah, it's located within the thing. So what the hell? If I don't update this thing, it should keep updating the variables in the array. I think I'm starting to see more and more benefits of the... Okay, there we go. Yes. I think I'm starting to see more and more benefits of the object-based programming. Because right now, all of these 3D objects, they're just meshes floating around. All these meshes have IDs, but that's all they are. They're just meshes. And the way I'm rotating them is that I have 4 arrays. The first array holds the IDs of all these meshes. The second, third, and fourth hold the X, Y, Z rotation, and the fifth array actually holds the rotation rate for each one. So all of these arrays are created and destroyed at the same time, so all of their values line up perfectly, right? Like that pylon right there, that platform, which would be like in the array slot number 6, all of the arrays would actually they would line, all the properties for that pylon would actually line up. Is it said I play 120 hours in 2 weeks? Oof, I don't know. I can't comment on that one because I usually program for a really long time, and then I have these gaming binges where I just gotta relax and play some games. And Jenko went away. Yay! So that's that. Okay. All right. So this thing is updating the variables, but how come it's not updating them right now? If old x does not equal new x, old y does not equal new y, and old z does not equal new z. Oh, it says if oh wait, hold on. Is it? No. What is above this thing? I mean, I should be able to actually do this. So KC. So that's if this is a server. So that should be working. Not sure why it's not working. Yeah, sometimes I just need to relax. But there's a whole lot of stuff that I still got to do. Like my second album is going to be coming out in 2018. Probably right at the beginning of 2018, because I've been working on this for a better part of 2017. That's already had been prepaid too. So all it is just left is the music. Why is it not updating the variables? There has got to be in-game cheats. Well, I mean, whatever you want to spend your time on, you know, can't stop you. Maybe I should. What? Yeah, maybe I should apply my data before I do anything else. So I have this thing here. If this is a server, the first thing it's gonna do is go through this loop, which is the do while the ID returns a 0. Afterwards, I'm going to immediately write down the position data for the host. Is it writing down? No, it is not. Why? Why is it not? Okay, so what happens when I start up the second instance? P. It's updating it. But the server's not updating. And I think I know why. Hold on a second. we set up update clients to true. Then if we receive a new message, we also set it to true. Send collected player data to clients. So if updated clients is equals to true, after we send the data, we set it to false. What if we don't set it to false? I mean, I know that it's going to keep sending it, but this is the logic. Apparently, if you didn't know, GameMaker Studio has gotten a new introductory developer plan where you pay 30 bucks and you get access to GameMaker Studio for an entire year, and you can work on your game. And if you get to a point when you can release the game, which is 1 year, is more than enough time to make a very decent game, they give you a discount for your purchase of the GameMaker Studio license. So this is a really good solution. You don't need to own the software right from the get-go, but for just 30 bucks, access to it for an entire year, if you're actually passionate about, game development, 1 year is more than enough to come up with, design, and produce a small game, right? So that is a really good whatchamacallit, deal. Okay, so this doesn't change shit, does it? Boolean update clients. Maybe it has something to do with this stuff. I mean, I know it does. Why? Alt X, Alt Y, Alt Z. New X, new Y, new Z. What do you mean too hard? What are you referring to? I mean, shit, Christmas is coming up. Ask your parents for that. If you guys still do that. Or I'm not sure what's Christmas situations like in Australia. Or maybe your birthday. That's universal, right? This works. Oh, that's what it is. It doesn't get updated there. It gets updated here. Collect local clients player data. I thought this was already used. Okay, never mind. Never mind. So this is actually going to be right up here, right in the main loop. Get that player position. Actually, you know what? screw it. I'll just collect it twice. Well, technically it's not going to collect it twice because you can either be a client or a server. So you're still going to be only collecting it once. Too hard about the Visual Studio. It's not even about the Visual Studio. It's about the logic in the code. It's 5:24. Jesus Christ. Yeah. I try to do these live streams early in the morning, but it's like 1:30 almost right now, so I got home pretty late. No, not pretty late. I got home at like 10 o'clock last night, but I only had enough time to have dinner and help my dad with some programming stuff too. Hey, look at that. Okay. So here's the deal. I can either A, figure out why it's not applying floats, because you can see after I stop, it's still updating those floats because there's still a tiny bit of movement going on. Or I can just round these values and that'll be it pretty much. Considering it's the yeah. I know that this works. Where am I applying it to the object? Apply data to all player objects. Well, gee. This is a vector float. Motherfucker, there it is. There it is. The temporary variables are the ones that are integers and not floats. God damn it. I should have... that's okay. That's okay because I found it. I found it. But seriously though, the float values don't even need to be used with the host and the server. So now that I figured this out, I can actually go ahead and make up my level transfer script. P, here we go. And I really don't need these floats to be this precise. So H. Nice! Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, so now I need to round these C++ round, not round float, but float decimal count. I remind you of one of your friends. Is he also a crazy person in sitting in the room talking to himself most of the time? Because that's what I am most of the time, right? Nobody knows about these live streams, so really it's just an excuse to just talk out loud and talk to myself and be like, are you talking to yourself? No, I'm on a live stream. What are you talking about? How to count? No, not count a flow number. Round float to decimal. Float point. Okay. How can I round float? Nice. Okay, this is exactly what I need. Floor F. Okay. Hide and seek game would actually be so cool. I see those games getting pretty a very nice chunk of attention, like the whatchamacallit, the prop hunt mod for the thing, which could very well be put into this game because I already have this shell, a functioning shell, for this game. So it could be one of the things, one of the games you could play. It's dedicated prop hunt. Tag would be interesting. Oh man, tag would totally be interesting. You shoot a beam in order to tag somebody. They become it. Oh man, now imagine this. You have a shock collar. The shock collar explodes if you don't tag somebody else within a certain amount of time. Right? That'll be interesting. I know. I mean, I have this shell for the game. I have the mechanic. I have the, the open space arena-like thing. I could totally make levels that are outfitted specifically for that type of gameplay. Lots of hallways. You already have the openness of the platform. So it's not like, it's not like Prop Hunt where you travel at a relatively realistic human pace, right? This is like inhuman sort of ability. So yeah, it's totally doable. So I found this thing. Float nearest. So this is what I need. Math.h, I already have that one. This is basically what I need. I need to round it down to like 2 decimal points, which I think is... Oh, it's this thing. Isn't it? I wish you could have your job and decoding man. I don't know. I would much rather actually spend another like 8 hours here and do this stuff than have my job, because I work a part-time job in a local store. So it's not what I want to do. It wastes time. It wastes my energy. The pay is minimum wage, so that pretty much tells you that. This is why I'm doing live streams, right? If I can get enough traction, and I can get like a Patreon, I make like $200 a week. I help my parents out, so every week I send them like $125, $100, depending what I have available. So I send them like maybe around $500 every month to help out with the mortgage stuff. So if I can actually grow enough of a Patreon following to at least cover like $800 a month, then I'm technically set to quit my job and still do this stuff while still living in the current lifestyle that I am. So I don't have too many expenses besides my phone, my website hosting, and domain fees that come once a year. $800 is usually the bare minimum if you live with your parents, which is this is what I do right now. If I can reach that, I quit my job and I do this stuff. I put all of my time into these projects, which is game development, which is music downstairs. So this is the music that I work on. And I'm trying to do several projects at once that are not related to each other. So I have this. My first album is the Pure Mayhem Decimal. This album, some of the music out of this album, I want to get out and start performing in the local venues, right? So I got 17 tracks in this album. This kind of music. etc., etc. So I want to get out and perform this music, and I feel like that is what's going to expose my video games to a wider variety of audience, right? So Instagram.com. I don't do remixes a lot. If I do ever remixes, it's probably going to be of very old music that I used to listen to, or that I listen to a lot, like Boney M, and I like. Here I had this project. This is a part of also what I'm trying to do. This is a part of the lighting system that I'm putting together in order to get out and perform, because, well, a lighting system like this would cost about $800. So far, my total has been about $300. Right, so it's right now in the garage. For this Christmas, I actually asked for the rest of the parts. Like, it's on my wish list. Power supply, LED strips, MOSFETs, controllers, you know, drivers, just that stuff. That's what I need. Because with this stuff, you can actually get out and perform. And this is just the one single part of the entire thing, right? Ah, crap! I closed the floating point solution. So there's a whole lot of different projects that I want to be doing. I want to hire a bunch of artists. Well, not a bunch of artists, like maybe a concept artist, a modeler, and a texture creation guy, and a programmer. So 4 people in total, in order to take my games to the next level. Right, C++, float to decimal. Where was this? I just had it. Round to 2 decimal places. Yeah, LED lights are great. This is going to be that thing that I just showed you. That's a half of a background LED wall. So I have 2 separate pieces that I can kind of position and angle if there's like a narrow space as a background. There's also like there's stepper motors, or there's the servo motors I'm going to be mounting on like these super bright RGB LED blocks that are they're extremely bright. And I'm going to be mounting those on like the lens and the stepper motors. I can, when the music is playing, I can actually control where they're shining, so I can have them, you know, moving to the music. You know, a system like this would cost a good maybe 5 to 10 grand, like all together. While my the total, well, you know, the whole cost would probably be about $500, realistically. Plus, I actually like putting this stuff together, so it's pretty fun. Okay, so this is what I need. Floor. This will actually floor the value to the nearest decimal. And I should so I should be fixing these values at the source. Where am I making this message? Clients. No, that's this is the client, yeah. Okay, so this is what I need to do. I'm reading this information. Instead of value, I just need to put in that function. And then, right, take that because I'm using the new X to actually store that inside of the array. So if I take this and go to the server side, which is technically doing the same thing. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. I can use the new X, new Y, new Z in here as well. So now these values should be properly rounded. Hopefully. Yes, they are. They're a little messed up, but they're there. So this is now no longer updating every like 1,000th of a float. So if I create a client, P, there we go. Okay. Oh, come on. No, come on. H. Oh, nice. And it's so fast too. It's actually fast when you're not sending unnecessary data. This is really cool. Technically, the only other thing I need to do is to add 3 more types of data for rotation of the camera, which would rotate the object. Afterwards, I'm going to substitute the block with a model of a skull, and that would be the player. And I need to add I would need to make like a particle system that is attached to the object in order to like, it's a stylistic thing. The player is basically a skull with particles for the body. Last, would making them make accounts to play be annoying? Depending on what kind of game you're making. If it's like an online hosted game, which is something that I also want to try to do, not really, because you can use here's the thing, it depends on what you use it for. What is the purpose of the account? Because with online games, you usually use the account in order to have the website store data for the player, right? Like there's a thing called the MySQL database. It's essentially a database of, well, data, right? So whenever you go to like Facebook or any website that requires you to register an account, it uses a MySQL database in order to store your username, your password, maybe your security question, some other data, right? And then if you have a forum, it would say, does this user have an account? Log in, you have an account, you can post on this forum, right? So it really depends on what you use it for. For example, maybe if you have an online game, you want to store, like for example with DayZ, if you visit most of the servers, I think with most of the servers your inventory gets transferred to the server. So the DayZ game has a public server where each user has a stored their inventory. So the inventory from one game is just 2 servers reading from the same database of what they had in their inventory, right? So it depends on what you want to use. You know, if it's for DRM, it's a different issue. You know, there's different ways. And yes, you're definitely right that it's much smoother. It's much less delayed. And that's because I'm not sending too much useless data. Like, honestly, I could probably round this. Maybe not. Don't round this anymore because it's actually going to start looking jagged. So first of all, I'm not sending data when I'm stationary because as you can see, there's bouncing there's a message that pops up whenever I'm moving, right? So data added, right? So that message only pops up when it's receiving a new network message, right? So before, as I said, like if I take a look at the server, the client side, if I move around to the server, you see that number that pops up, right? Look at that. 10,000, no, 103,300 something, right? In 1 second, it sends about 100 messages. Once again, optimization. If I'm standing still, I don't need to be updating my player position. Right? Okay, so now that works, let me see if I can figure out the freaking username thing. This thing up here. Where is it? Oh, for God's sakes. Here we go. This thing. The name. Constant character. Huh. So, okay. I have this thing, which AGK print. If I print this thing, every time I create a client, it should show me a different number, but it's only going to show me, hold on. No. It's only going to show me for a moment, so I won't be able to see it. I need this to be over here. Print number, but number needs to be client name number. This thing needs to be initialized here. And don't print this. Don't print this. Don't print this. Okay, where are you complaining about a semicolon? $48. Oh yeah, over there. Any more errors? No more errors. Oh. Shit. I created a server. Also, I'm planning this for this to be a drop-in system, so no lobby. If your friend is playing, you should be able to connect to him right away. So it says print 41, and if I do this again, it still says print 41. What the hell? Okay, so let's look this up again. C++, random number. Random numbers. Oh boy, oh boy. What? So these are the random numbers that it might print, which is pretty good. So let's do that. I just want to get the expected result. No funny business with custom code. P. It still says 41. Oh, yeah. Don't I need to randomize? C++, randomize. Because if you don't do randomize, then you're gonna get a random number, but it's always gonna be the same. Random number generator. Hasrand. This is what I need. P41. Ay. Ah, okay, so this is how we gotta use the time. We gotta use the time function. All right, well, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate the viewership. P. Nice, there we go. It's actually creating a random value. And now it's gonna depend on time. But it's the same. Why? It's jeez. P 29977. Why is it the same? It's supposed to be random. Oh, okay, here we go. Three zero zero 42. 30075. 30098. Okay, so I think it's random. Why does it start with the same number though? 300121. Okay, anyways. It's random. I know that much. Now I need to C++, convert int to character. The straightforward way, the safer way, the generic way, the handy way. C++ way. Okay. Plus, I'm not sure if I can add characters like that though. It's a character, yes. Type. This character cannot be used to initialize entity type. It's a constant character, huh? So how do I convert regular character to constant character? See, this is the more boring stuff. C++ character to const character. Null terminated constant character for every character. Uh-huh. You can take the address of that element so if it's pointing to a full non-terminated string, can I have that as a string? String client name equals dumbass. Can this be plugged into here? No, it cannot. God damn it. For instance, overloaded function. Okay. You gotta figure this character string stuff. What if I do this? Identifier is not present. Just poking in the dark. The string. I mean, if I was really adventurous, I could probably just make myself a whole bunch of different strings and just pick a random one. I could totally do that if if we have the string here and we can access its character using that, then yeah, totally do that. So here's what I'm gonna do. Address, so string address equals, ooh, not good. Just a whole bunch of random letters. No symbols though. In fact, if I know how many letters there are, it can be easier. So I could probably make numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Right. So 10 characters. And with the client, what I need to do is get this. Is it gonna work? I need to convert it to a constant character, so that? No. Identifier not found. It's right here. String gives a non-terminated constant character for every character. Ah, sim.c string. So that I think is what I need. But it gives it for every character, not for just one thing. Expression must have integral, unknown scope, enum type. I've already dealt with this. Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. How about this? No. You can take address from that element. It's right here. The string, and then you take the string, this string, and then you take the whatever you want to get out of it. Expression must have. I'll let Google fix my spelling. Oh, looks like I've Googled this already. I'm taking my laptop into my room. Okay, if you're into that kind of stuff. It's like solving complex equations gets me hard. Oh God. Oh, expression must have integral. Okay. Use fmod. What does c equals to here? 100. Okay, I think I'm trailing off into deep waters here. So I have a string. C++ get string character. String at I. Okay, so address dot at 4. Son of a bitch. I need to convert it to a constant character, so I keep hitting the same goddamn wall. Fuck. Okay, C++, convert char to const char. Everybody who's actually knows C++ is probably screaming at me right now. Either they've just stopped the video. This is like me talking 10 years later. This is actually Windows 7. I just disabled all the themes and iron and all that visual garbage stuff that just eats up my memory. I need every single kilobyte of RAM just for this stuff. Okay, character equals 0. Constant character. So we just need a new thing. So const character. Address bit. And how do we get the I think I'm supposed to do this. A value type of character cannot be used to initialize an entity type constant character. You son of a bitch. Okay, moving on. Okay, this is stuff about printing. Converting character, constant character. I swear to God. Yeah. String. Why does that say... Wait, maybe it's based on this code. String, the string, equals ABC123. Okay, so... So this is what the I was supposed to have done. So he creates a new string. So that's what he does. So if I take this horseshit and I take address, but instead of this we'll just do character 5. I think this is supposed to be a character, no? What is this thing defined as? Constant character multiply, right? Hey, okay, so hold it. So if I do this, son of a bitch, expression must have integral and scope type. What the fuck? If I knew what the fuck that meant. Can you do that on Windows 10? Probably, unless they disable it. I don't have Windows 10, so I wouldn't really know. Oh yeah, okay, so I should probably C++, how to add character. Because string append. Constant string. I think that's what I'm supposed to use. But it's a string, not a character. Add character. I think it's a character array. No, this has to more to do with arrays. If I look at this function, first it takes constant character, then it takes an integer, then it takes another constant character. Maybe I can use the string append with it. Again, that's an array. That's not what I need. Hold on. I can't use a string. I already tried this. In fact, this says it has to be a constant character. Just to verify. Yes. Terrible. Absolutely. I'm so fucking close. I just need to figure out why this is popping up. Being a newbie at C++ sucks. Major dicks. Expression must have an integral on scope in type. I might. What about uString? uString. Oh, uString string. Oh, temp equals. Yes. Totally. Can I put this in here? Yes, I can. Hold on. Hold on. So, can I... No, I can't do this in here. But, I can append it. Can I not? Plus append string. String 2 is writing. String 3, okay. String 3. So this dots are cool 5. So str append string 3. So what is 6 and what is 3? Clearly that's an override. Constant character append. Okay, so I should be able to do this constant character and include the where was it? So this will include the first five characters. This you supply which string? That's the third one, C string. Appends a copy of a string formed by a null terminated character sequence, C string, pointed by S. So if I take this temp append address 5. No instance of overloaded function. Which library am I supposed to be using this? Include string. And I'm supposed to be using a namespace for that too. I am using string, but I'm not using a namespace. So, oh, it doesn't even say I have to use it. Oh, str dot. Motherfucker. Hold on. I have to combine two different use strings. C++, combine use string. String combination, Stack Overflow. Really? So what if I do use string 1 equals 1, u string 2 equals 2. Can I do u string result equals 1 plus 2? No operator matches those. Ah, uString is an AGK function. But AGK has its own stuff, doesn't it? std basic string. Okay, I get it. So uString is a string type made by the engine, and I'm trying to use the string types made by the other thing. So I think AGK has a function where I can grab a random character. So AGK uString, text, music, sound, whichever. Home. Ah, tits. Okay, that's it. I gotta end this. Gotta go to work. Gotta go to work. Sorry. This is kind of abrupt. Sorry. I totally lost track of time. I gotta get the fuck out. So, 7:30, I'll be back. But, you know, I don't know what time it's gonna be over there. 7:30. Well, but 8:30, I'll probably do another stream. So, I'm running late.